Hi. May I say something to my attorney first?
Not privately.
Yeah, I know it's not going to be privately.
Remember this guy, the Moorish stalker, who wanted to proceed pro se? He didn't want a lawyer, and he testified that he'd been sitting in jail for 98 days because he's going pro se? Well, I have the update on his next court cases, but before we go to his next court cases, let's just watch a quick recap of his very first court appearance.
Flashback.
Can you hear me, Miss Reed?
Yes, I can.
You asked me if I was a U.S. citizen properly before. I was confused by the question. I didn't understand it. Can you hear me, Miss Reed?
Yes, I can.
You asked me if I was a U.S. citizen properly before. I was confused by the question. I didn't understand it. I'm not a U.S. citizen now. I'm a Moorish American national. I just want that to be on the record.
Okay.
What's your name, please?
Hi, my name is Eddie J. Collard Greens Jr.
Your Honor, the people are asking for a $50,000 surety bond in each of these criminal cases. This is a series of escalating aggravated stalking charges involving threats to kill his estranged wife, kill her family, burn down her mother's house.
Say what?
He has said that he's hired a private investigator and given specific details about the victim's habits, including what door she's going in and out of at work. Contacted by law enforcement, he told them that they couldn't do anything because he's out of state. None of the orders, PPOs, instructions from law enforcement have done anything to stop this behavior and these escalating threats. He's absolutely a flight risk. It's believed that the only connection he has to Michigan at that time is the victim who's here. He had to be extradited from Syracuse, New York, including going through the governor's warrant process. After he was arrested, hiding in a closet, and refused to acknowledge who he was. He's a danger to the victim. He's a danger to society, and he is a flight risk.
You're going to be in front of Judge Simpson next Thursday.
I would like to say something.
Pardon me?
I would like to say something, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I would like to relieve Attorney Sylvia Reed of her obligation and contract of me.
We're not doing that today. I don't have the authority to do that.
Well, I have one more thing to say, if that's okay. I, Eddie J. Collard Greens, I present myself to this court in personam, and I would like to call on the bonds of all opposing counsel and plaintiff pursuant to Michigan compiled law, complete through PA 76 of 2022, Act 19 of 1934, Law 129-51, Bonds of Public Officials, Section 1, and Law 15-181, Section 1, Law Filing of Oath and Bonds, and Law 15-91, Official Bond Certificate. Pursuant to your obligations, ma'am, under Michigan Court Rules of 1985, Chapter 2, Civil Procedure, Rule 2-109, Security for Costs, and also pursuant to the Michigan compiled laws, complete through 76 of 2022, Filing of Oath and Bonds, Act 164 of 1848, 15-91. Can you please forward the copies of all bonds used to underwrite your interests and case numbers?
Nope.
Is this not a commercial claim, Ellen?
No, this is not a commercial claim.
Well, the governor's warrant was printed on commercial paper from a commercial bonds company.
You know what? I don't want to do this with you because it's not necessary or pleasant
Okay.
or appropriate. All right.
Okay.
So I understand that your position is that my authority to set a bond for you is questionable. That's not true. I'm not going to explain why it's not true. I have many other people that I need to see today.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And
ma'am.
but I hear what you're saying. You've made the record. It's on the record. Okay.
Yes, I would just like the bonds as a matter of discovery. I would like the bonds of all plaintiffs as a matter of discovery put on the record.
You can't ask me for discovery and I'm not a plaintiff. Okay. Now, regarding whether or not Ms. Reed continues to represent you, my authority to appoint and to approve the replacement of counsel is extremely limited. All I can do is appoint a person from the public defender's office.
I would like to go pro se. You're fired, Sylvia Reed, pursuant to the corpus juris sanctum. The first obligation of an attorney is to the court. The second obligation is to the public, and the third is to the client. When you break down client is.
That's true. When you are in front of Judge Simpson next week, at that time, you can again bring up that you would like to be to have either a different lawyer or represent yourself, and Judge Simpson can handle that for you. Okay. My obligation is to appoint at these hearings, and then it gets cleaned up later on if it needs to be. Okay. Can I finish your bond, or is there something else you'd like to say to me?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And you're saying for all four is 50,000 in totality?
Each file has 50,000, so a total of 200,000.
All right. Even though I've been in custody for 98 days?
Yes. As of right now, I've appointed the public defender's office to represent you on that matter as well. So you'll have someone available to help you. It won't be Ms. Reed.
I'll prefer to go pro se. I don't need an officer of the court now. I've been going pro se this entire time in New York.
Okay, so this is how you know these Moorish sovereign citizens are completely delusional and lack the ability to just sit back and think rationally. You want to go pro se, and you just admitted that you've been going pro se thus far in this case, yet you've been sitting in jail for 88 days. Excuse me, sir. So why in the doohickey wouldn't you just hire a lawyer? Maybe you'll actually get out of jail. What is wrong with you?
From all of my cases, I've been pro se the entire time. And do I need to get something submitted to the county clerk to relieve the counsel
You have to talk to Judge Simpson about it next week when you see it. Okay.
End of flashback.
Okay, so now let's jump over to the Honorable Judge Simpson's court and see how this Moorish sovereign citizen does there.
1 week later.
Court calls the cases of the people versus Green Collier.
Good morning, Your Honor. Absolutely for the people.
Good morning, Tom Piotrowski on behalf of Eddie Collier Green on all cases.
Eddie Collier. Oh, they
Yes,
have
sir.
listed. Oh, I see what they did. All right, go ahead. All right, what are we doing on these?
Yeah, today's the date and time scheduled for a PCC. I've had a chance to talk with Ms. Lundy. I'm newly retained, just received discovery last week, requesting just 1 week to decipher everything. Would also appreciate a chance to address
Is he
bond.
being held on anything else?
He's got four, I think there are 4 similar cases. They're all aggravated stalking cases. They all center around pretty much the same type of event with his soon-to-be ex-wife. They were living in Syracuse. She She left the area, came to the Detroit
Was the
area
answer to
with
my
their
question
child.
no?
No, Your Honor, only these
Oh, yeah.
4 cases.
All right. So were you arguing bond or what were you doing? Mr.
Yeah, I was attempting to. Yes, sir. Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Again, all these cases center around the same type of event with his soon-to-be ex-wife. She left the jurisdiction in Syracuse, New York, with her child. You know, it's a case of 2 wrongs don't make a right. She took the child, and he ended up texting her some pretty, I don't know, vicious words that ultimately got him in trouble.
And Your Honor, I would be opposed to any change in the bond. I think that the court should know that the victim did have a PPO in place through New York, which the defendant had been served with, which does create the aggravating factor in these stalking matters. Furthermore, the contacts continued for quite an extended period of time, and they included emails as well as text messages. To give the court an example of some of the things that the defendant was sending to the victim, a quote from one of the emails. I know where you work. I know what doors you walk in. I know where you live. If I can't get to you, I'll get someone close to you. Is all this trouble worth it to you? Get your shit together.
You'll be ready to go on the 8th, Mr. Piotrowski?
Yes, sir.
Probable cause conference is adjourned September 8th, 2022, 9 a.m. Bond in these matters will continue. Bond reduction is denied.
Sir. Thank you, Ms. Landy.
Okay, so that court hearing went rather quick. And one thing I noticed was this guy actually smartened up and must have listened to one of his jail friends, because now he's not representing himself. He has an actual lawyer representing him. And that is definitely in his best interest. But this guy is clearly a stalker and deserves to be in jail. Now let's jump over to the next court date.
1 week later.
Proposed case of the people versus Eddie Collard Green.
Ashley Lonnie for the people.
Yeah, good morning, Tom Piotrowski on behalf of Eddie Collard Green on all cases. Eddie, would you identify yourself, please, by stating your name?
Eddie J. Collard Green Jr.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, what are we doing?
I think we're just getting set for a date at this point, Your Honor.
Requesting live exam, Your Honor.
How soon do you want it?
Soon as possible. My client's been in for over 100 days.
That doesn't put the
So I
time
can
that he
respond.
was contesting extradition while in custody in New York.
I was going to mention that. Thank you.
Oh, he's been extradited in? Okay. What the heck? Yeah, that's what I would do. You want this in person? Preliminary examination in person, September 20th. 2022, 9 a.m. That is before me. On all 4 matters.
With regard to bond, may I address briefly?
Go ahead.
As I've indicated, my client has been incarcerated for over 100 days. And as Ms. Landy has indicated, part of it is his own doing when he fought extradition. Ms. Landy and I did have a chance to at least preliminarily calculate the guidelines. He's 0 to 6 on this 5-year offenses. Bonds are rather healthy. We would be asking for either a personal bond or a low cash bond with no objection to a tether. And certainly we would waive extradition.
Ms. Landy.
Your Honor, we were here last week and defense counsel made the same argument. I recited for the court a portion of one email that the defendant sent to the victim and the court denied the request. I don't think anything has changed since that time.
I have heard nothing different than the last time the court has heard this bond argument. Further with the issue regarding the extradition and the other issues. Motion for bond reduction is denied. Thank you. Bond will continue.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Your Honor.
And there we have it. This Moorish sovereign citizen is still in jail for stalking. At least he smartened up and is using an attorney to represent him. Unfortunately for us, the next court hearing will be in person, so there will be no update. Hopefully they move after that next court date, his future court dates back to Zoom court so we can check in on the progress of this case.